Hi guys, welcome back to my new YouTube channel, Housewives 411. We didn't get much of a warning today because I had some tea that I wanted to talk to you guys about first thing today, and it's about the Real Housewives of New Jersey. And I have this clip that all of these podcasts that Tamara and Teddi did have been deleted, and I found this clip, and I think you guys are going to want to hear about it. And also, we have some other things to talk about, but I'm going to play my intro and then we'll come back in.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm the Housewife Historian, and we are here. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm the Housewife Historian, and we are here to talk the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I'm going to be talking a little bit in code today because if you watch my channel and you watch my live, yes.
Is the plane going down? Are we gonna die? Why are you saying I'm sorry?
I'm like looking around for my coffee. I'm like, where's my coffee at? Okay, guys, we're going to be talking about the Real Housewives of New Jersey, and we're going to be talking about BravoCon 2022. With all of this drama between Teresa and Tamara from the Real Housewives of Orange County, I kind of was like going through her podcast, and I was talking to my friend, and she found this clip. Justin is a hairstylist, and he had attended BravoCon with Teddi and Tamara. And he tells a story about his first encounter with Melissa. And it's not a good story. And after he went on a podcast, it was Jennifer Aiden. Teddi was interviewing her, obviously, for the Real Housewives. And do you guys know who I'm talking about when I say Justin? I think his last name's like Anderson. He's a hairstylist. Do you guys know where I'm going with this? It was a podcast episode with Jennifer Aiden, Justin, and Teddi. They were at BravoCon last year, 2022. Justin tells a story about running into Melissa at the Gansevoort Hotel, and I think it was in the elevator, and that she snubbed him. Like, she was not friendly to him at all. And he even referenced J-Lo. He like called her J-Lo. Like, she was acting like she was too good to talk to him. And so he went on the podcast the next day, and while interviewing Jennifer Aiden, obviously, they were talking, and Jennifer was so nice to him. If you guys don't remember, Teddi was like allegedly set up to do interviews at BravoCon last year. And then they said like nobody was like going up to her, and she was kind of sitting off to the side. Right. So Jennifer Aiden did an interview with her. So nice. Jennifer was super nice to Justin. She gets dragged into this, right? Because guess what happens? Guess what happens? He redacts it. He redacts his statement, and he goes on Melissa's podcast. I swear to God on everything. That's the truth. Literally. He was doing a live on Instagram, and Melissa heard the podcast, and so she tuned into his live and like messaged him to come on her podcast. Regardless, he went and did her podcast. She apologized, and they just back and forth, right? So I don't know if it was iHeart or Melissa like complaining to iHeart, but they deleted, like they spliced it, the episode. So you can't go back and listen to it anymore. Like, you can kind of pick up what they're saying, but the story about him seeing her in the elevator, her being J-Lo, gone. But we did find a clip. It's on my Instagram, HW Historian with the number 2. And Justin chimes in and says that Melissa needs to get what I don't think he said stick, but he said like, what's up her ass or something like that. And her and Teddi, they're talking, and Teddi's like, oh yeah, Justin, now they're interviewing Jackie Goldschneider, and Justin starts talking shit about Melissa. Well, not shit, but he just said like, what is wrong with her? Like, why would she act like that? And Jackie's like, oh my God, she would feel so bad if she knew that. She probably didn't know. Right, she didn't know him, so she didn't know to be nice. I actually remember seeing them at the Gansevoort on BravoCon Eve, and she like I think she had on like that green sparkly dress. She had a suit. It was like a suit. It was a shirt, jacket, pants, and it was like solid green sparkles. I think she like wore it to perform her On Display song. But yeah, I found this clip, so I want you guys to go listen to it. And then in return, not only did Melissa negotiate him to redact his statement and come on her show and kiss her ass the entire time, kind of, like he probably felt bad for what he said because he knew that she heard it. And so I don't know, maybe he was just a really big fan of Melissa's, and maybe he was like, he said, maybe I was like so excited to see her that it freaked her out or something. Not freaked her out, but like turned her off from talking to him. I don't know if that's true or not. But here's the messed up part too. Not only did Melissa say, "Come on my show, redact it, let the audience know how much you love me, be my biggest fan, and make sure that you trash Jennifer Aydin while we're at it," because Jennifer had done an interview with Justin and Teddi. And she was so nice. She was lovely. So nice. And then when Justin went on Melissa's podcast, yeah. Yo says, Messi always wants to rewrite history by everyone redacting what is said about her. It is literally a pattern, okay? Look at the Brad Garrett. That is a perfect situation because nobody can say, tree huggers, Brad Garrett, basically, he was not nice about his post. He did use the word scam. He did say that he didn't know Joe Gorga at all. And then the next day he redacted and edited the caption. And I think he edited it the next day after that too. Was that the time without autotune that was cringe? I think she should have declined singing anything. Amazing Grace, her RHONJ. I posted a photo of her last year singing at BravoCon because she like does a number where she is like kind of squatted down, and Vicki Gunvalson is like sitting on the edge, and she's like looking at Melissa with complete disgust. And I posted it because I'm like, look at Vicki's face. Also, guys, funny because he was so good with Jennifer. Exactly. If you guys have to remember, there was so much hate last year that they broke the New Jersey panels up. She did the same with Danny. Yes, she did. Yep. So this clip, basically, they're interviewing Jackie, and he chimes in and says, like, what the F is wrong with Melissa? And Jackie's like completely defending Melissa, like, oh my gosh, she's usually so lovely in person. Okay, Jackie. She's like, she would feel so terrible if she knew that she did that. Like, yeah, she'd feel so terrible that you're talking about it right now. Yeah, so then he ended up going on her podcast. And so what they did on her podcast after everything died down, they went and they spliced it and just like spliced basically what happened. And then they, picked back up. So you don't really understand the episode. You guys can probably find that on Melissa's On Display podcast. Isn't that crazy? I think it's so crazy. And it's like, I don't know. It circles back to the fact that like Tamara and Teddi have guests on their show, and then they talk shit about them. And then they're like, I don't know why Teresa's upset with me. Well, I don't know why either. You had her on. You were so nice to her face. And not even a week later, like Teddi and Tamara are, cracking jokes at Teresa's expense or saying something about Louis at Teresa's expense, like over and over and over. But they do that with a lot of their guests. Like, I don't know, like they don't want their guests to come back. I don't know if their guests are just booked through iHeart. So there's no really, if you want to do it, maybe it's like part of your contract, it's part of the press. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. But like, why you talk bad about your guests and then have them on your show? Like, that's bad etiquette. I bet Jackie's not saying the same now. No. And if you guys remember yesterday, I was like asking, how is Jen Fessler and Jackie going to do a podcast with Tamra and Teddi being the executive producers? That leaves Jackie basically alone. Well, she's a loner over there, right? Are they going to really let her have her own opinion, you know, and validate it? Probably not. They're all going to validate each other. And of course, they're not going to be able to say anything bad about Tamara and Teddi. Maybe that's why they're executive producers. They're like, we can't get people to stop talking bad. So maybe if we produce the podcast instead of make it, just like a thought, you know. Because Teddi is always saying something crazy about people. Always. Always. She was talking about Caroline Manzo on the plane and all that. Mauricio has also been spotted out and about. Yo-Yo says, yes, they were making fun of Teresa right before interviewing her, and Tamara said that Teresa's wedding dress. That's right. Thank you so much, Yo-Yo, for reminding me. That's what it was. They were making fun of Teresa's wedding. That's what it was. Thank you, Yo-Yo. Because Teresa and Tamara had the same wedding dress designer. If you guys remember, Tamara also got married on the show. She married Eddie on the show. So Teresa's dress did like have a little bit of a resemblance to what Tamara's dress was, but Tamara made sure to let us know that her dress was exclusive and that Teresa's wasn't. Then they made fun of her wedding hair. And she said, long hair don't care. Right? She was like, I like it. And next. Yeah, they made fun of her hair. Somebody was asked who is like the ultimate housewife of all times, and they answered Teresa. And Teddi was like, oh my God. Oh, that I specifically remember. But yes, Tamara was going hard at Teresa about her wedding. And here's the messed up part. Yes, Tamara and Eddie and Teresa and Joe Giudice went out a long time ago. And Tamara threatens to release something to the press because she claims something happened that night and that Teresa called her the next day and asked her not to tell the press. And so now she threatens Teresa with that any chance she gets. But before they fell out, it was Teresa and Louis at the VMAs, and Tamara and Eddie were behind them. So they were doing press side by side doing the red carpet, and they ended up going out that night. And Tamara and Teresa were posting together, dancing, drunk, and Teresa's like, you need to come to New Jersey. So they were cool. Everything was fine. Teresa gets booked. She goes on the podcast. And like I said, they just start talking shit. If Trey knew, she wouldn't have accepted that interview. That's what I mean. It's hard to keep up on everything, number one. Number two, I don't know, like, iHeart, they're not booking their own people. So iHeart must have, you know, they're like all owned and they all work together, like, you know, weave together. I also saw Andy Cohen this morning posted a video and said that on Peacock, they've added more streams of the panels that took place, and I think they put them into episodes. I didn't check myself, so you guys can check that out. But he said if you're bored, go check out what Peacock's done with the panel. So you can't screen record from Peacock. They're getting very clever, right? You can't screen record anymore from Peacock. They cut that all the way out. So I don't know if we'll get more clips or not. Teddi is a self-declared shit star. She is. She really is. Also, guys, I have great news. I'm going to be on the Namaste Bitches podcast that drops this week. So make sure that you guys go and watch that and like tag me or, you know, tell them how amazing I am. Obviously, I want you to tell them that. Yeah, so that was exciting. And that's like my second time meeting Teresa. But she always doesn't realize until after who I am. But she's so sweet. And is Carol here today? Is my friend Carol in here? If she is, I hope you're not mad. I told her you said hello. Because she was talking about high school anyways. So I told her. Sorry. Don't be mad. Sorry, I was reading this comment. Did you hear her sing on Watch What Happens Live without auto-tune? And the look on Andy's face was priceless. In the closet singing Amazing Grace. I know that scene seems so fabricated now when you go back and watch it. That's why I always tell people, if go back and watch a couple of episodes from each season back in the day, and you will have a whole different perception of like what really happened. For sure. Oh, thank you so much. I know they were so nice. Melissa Feaster, she is so sweet. She is like so humble, so welcoming, you know, just she's like always talking mom stuff. I love that because I have a 3.5-year-old and she's like running around with her little ones and she's posting it and they're playing like Spider-Man and like I don't know, fun stuff. They're running around with like capes and stuff and I'm like over here scrubbing my carpet. Like I just want to live my life, but I have OCD and I had new carpet put in. I can't stop cleaning it. So she was like giving, you know, it's always good to support moms. So I feel like she does a really great job of like supporting a mom community within the Bravo community, because obviously there's a lot of moms. And yeah, so you guys will have to stay tuned for that. And also I wanted to say that I saw Dr. Heavenly rocking Namaste Bitches clothes. Like she was literally rocking a Namaste Bitches black t-shirt and Namaste Bitches sweatpants. And she was doing, I guess she was a live show on Sunday nights with Carlos. Well, she had Carlos King on. So she was rocking Namaste Bitches with her interview with Carlos King. I thought that was so awesome and super supportive. And I think like Melissa has also developed like relationships with the Bravo celebrities and they know her too. So yeah, I thought that was super cute that Dr. Heavenly did that. And she was like repping the Namaste Bitches podcast and the sweatpants. Not gonna lie, the sweatpants look super comfortable. I ordered the first round, and I got a white t-shirt. It's like nice, it's like quality. It's not like, you know, thin or anything. It's nice. So also, I have a funny story to tell you guys. Do you want to hear it? It's about Dorito from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She did a commercial. She did a commercial with Lisa Barlow and Giselle Bryant and somebody else. I can't remember who else it was. So they filmed together for this commercial. It's like 9-10 hours. Okay. The four ladies, Lisa Barlow, Giselle, and Dorit. Okay. So they get done filming. They're at BravoCon. And Giselle says, I go up to Dorito and I say, oh my gosh, did you hear that our commercial is like up for an award? And Dorito's like, oh yeah, they came and told me that it was up for an award, you know? And Giselle's like, oh, that's awesome. So then, come to find out, Lisa Barlow runs into Dorito on the red carpet and she says, like, our commercial is getting up for an award. And like Dorito just looks at her. And she's like, you know, the commercial, it's up for an award. And Dorito's like, thank you. And kept walking. And that's because she didn't know who Lisa Barlow was. She forgot who Lisa Barlow was, guys. Dorito thought Lisa Barlow was like a producer or an executive coming up to her on the red carpet telling her that their commercial was up for an award. Because Lisa Barlow went back to Giselle and was like, she really doesn't know who I am. Like she sat across a table with me for 9 hours and she literally has no clue who I am. I was like, wow, Dorito, we gotta get you together. But it's not great. That's funny. That's funny. You like Lisa. I feel like no matter what, Lisa, if you like her or hate her, she's someone that you remember after you meet. But not for Dorito. No, sorry. Nope. Didn't even remember Lisa. I was like, ouch. Like, that's gotta hurt Lisa Barlow's ego. You know what? Are you guys watching Salt Lake City? Monica, the whole situation there. If you guys don't follow Monica's mom on Twitter, go find her. It's worth it. It is. I wish Carlos was directing Jersey. I think a lot of people feel that way. Teresa loves Carlos King as well, but the network doesn't. So, unfortunately, I mean, I would love to see Carlos and Andy have to work together and then like split up the cast. You know what I mean? And like him be responsible for some and Andy be responsible for some. Feuding back then was a comedian who bashed her singing. They went at it on Twitter. No, she wasn't. Okay, Monica's mom was feuding with a comedian who was bashing her singing on Twitter. I'm telling you, her mom you gotta follow Monica's mom. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, her mom, I think it's like LD Millionaire or something. You gotta follow her, especially if you're watching the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City right now. Also, I think it was John Mayer. That makes sense. Also, guys, I'm not here. I feel like everything's died down with John Fuda. I haven't been online much today, but I haven't seen much popping up. So I figured that the worst of the worst is out there as it pertains to like his interview with Kim D. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure that the Patreon, like someone's recorded it and released it by now. The worst of the worst. So if that's a good thing, if we hadn't heard anything new about it, if you ask me. All right, guys, well, make sure that you go check out my Instagram, HW Historian with the number 2. That is where you're going to find the clip from the actual interview with Teddi and Jennifer and Justin. And you're going to hear Justin say basically something about a stick up her behind. Too good to talk to somebody, right? So this clip is very it's like a golden nugget, okay? Like, this clip just came from like the Bravo gods. They were like, here you go, because I'm sure that they didn't know this was in there. I'm sorry, actually, they had already done the interview with Jennifer. You're gonna hear the interview. You're gonna hear Jackie. You're gonna hear Jackie and Teddi and Justin. So, Monica's mom. Oh man, I know I feel bad for Monica. I'm like, bro, I hope you like got some counseling. Like, that's a generational thing, you know what I mean? Like, you can pass down alcoholism and you can pass down traits, you know what I mean? So you got to be the generational breaker, the chains. I feel bad for I know, Debbie, that's what I want to feel bad for her, but then I go back to the fact that she was working with the federal government and I don't even think that she had to. I don't know if she was getting paid. Because they can pay their informants. Just saying. I don't know. I don't like that. She wasn't even Jen Shah's assistant that long. So, and everyone flipped on Jen Shah. They didn't need another witness. Like, the last thing the prosecution for Jen Shah needed was a witness. Every single person turned on Jen Shah, and they were all up and ready to testify. So why would you insert yourself into a federal investigation where you potentially have to go to court in the public eye and be somebody who testifies against somebody else that's going to go to prison, and you have 4 kids? That doesn't make any sense to me. That feels like you were either dating or wanting to, do the damn thing with somebody over here. Are you getting paid? Like, it wasn't because she wanted to do a good deed. I'm sure that's not the case. And even so, the government would have been like, yeah, we got enough. Thank you. If we need you, we'll call you. They did not need her. So that's the only thing I want to like her, but I have a hard time getting past that. I just don't like that. And also, then she has a car wash suing her for the car. She was filming a TikTok, I think, and she like backed up the car wash and like for an hour and held it up and people couldn't use the bay or something. And I don't know, she broke the machine. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but they're suing her. And then there are allegations that she received military benefits, even though she's not in the military and she's not a vet. She was none of those things, but she was receiving military benefits. That's kind of a big deal. I don't know. I wonder how much she owes. But I think it's kind of disrespectful to the military community if you have people coming in and saying they're military and getting benefits if they're not military. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of shitty. Allegedly, they really brought her in because of Jen Shaw, to kind of, probably to kind of close that storyline out because Jen Shaw, went away. And the season before, we didn't really know if she was going to go away or not because she was still saying she was very much innocent. So, exactly. And so Gorga helped. He didn't testify. That's, Debbie, that's like so right. That's why it took so long for everything to really happen for Joe and Teresa because, like, you had to really dig, and also it like wasn't, I don't know, it was during that time a lot of the banks were over lending people. Like the banks were, if you were eligible for 90,000 but you only asked for 10. I saw my manager open up a line of credit for an old man whose home was paid for, he was retired, a line of credit on his house for like 90,000, and he got in a lottery scheme, and they ended before, like, we got it figured out. They wiped him clean. He lost his house, and he had to go live with his son. So it's like bad. But with Joe and Teresa, they were doing what everyone else was doing, and in generally speaking, you know what I mean. But people forget, like, I don't even think at first they were talking about that serious a jail time for Teresa and Melissa, but politics were a hot subject at that time, especially immigration. Okay. If you guys don't remember, Teresa actually worked with Donald Trump on The Apprentice when she was on The Apprentice, and he was president at the time. And, Joe Giudice wasn't an American citizen, so he was getting deported. But they got like upset with them with like the cooperation in their audit or something like that, and that's when they decided to like hand down jail time. I don't even think they were going to they definitely weren't going to give Teresa jail time. She was going to get probation. Joe Giudice was going to take the whole fall and go away for both of them. But then the courts got upset with her and with the audit, and then ended up saying she had to go do time too. So that's why they did it. She went first and then he went. But regardless, you guys know what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I don't think that they considered that she would get in trouble. I'm sure that they're not dumb men. We know Al Manza, like, they're connected. They're not stupid men. So I'm surprised that they wouldn't have been a little more cautious about Teresa, because you are essentially taking a mom away from her children. So that's a lot of karma. Karma. It's like it's like the law of nature. It's like God's law. Like you can't control it. Like it's gonna happen. You reap what you sow. You always reap what you sow. You're gonna reap your harvest. You reap the seeds you plant. So just saying, so many people were complicit in Joe and Teresa's takedown. Yes, Mia, thank you. That is the word I was looking for. Complicit. Absolutely, they were. Teresa has a way, I feel like she has a lot of haters. Maybe it's because she can turn it off and she can go to her kids and her life and not even like think about housewives. But I don't know. They had a lot of people. Maybe it was Joe Giudice too, because if you remember towards the end, he was like stressed. You know what I mean? He was stressed. He was very stressed. And I think he was grumpy, And I remember Chris Laredo trying to talk to him about a debt with somebody else. And Joe Giudice was like, tell him to F off. That's what he said. So Chris Laredo was like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, I'm sure. Tell him I said F off. So I think that sometimes he made enemies just because of his personality and how he is. Truly don't believe Teresa knew. No, I don't think so either. What was going on with Joe's business dealings and handed her money? I agree with you 100%. 100. She was raising the kids. She was at home. I agree with you. But anyways, we're going to see them spending the holidays with Joe in the Bahamas. What a blessing that he at least can come to the Bahamas and be there. It's a much shorter, cheaper flight for the kids, especially, not having to fly international. It's beautiful there, but it is low income. 2/3 of the income there is on, dependent on tourism. So, and they're like kind of behind us. I haven't been there like, oh gosh, I don't know, 20 years, but when I was there, it was almost like the 70s because all of the cars are super old because there's like no salt or like bad weather. So the cars like last and it feels like you're in like the 70s. It's kind of cool. So yeah. But thankfully, Jennifer Aiden and her family is going to be joining them. So they're going to be there for New Year's. And I think that's amazing. I love to travel around that time of year. In fact, I'm going to start doing it. I already said that I want to do that. And so they're going to be at that nice ass resort in the Bahamas, and it'll be Bill and their kids, their whole clan. They probably get like a nice ass, spread for them. And then the hotel's going to have everything. When I say these hotels have everything, I'm talking like huge water slides, like a pool that you can, or that you swim up, and there's like bar stools in the water, and you get your drinks. Like, and they're going to be treated, they're going to have a nice vacation there. So, I mean, if you had to live anywhere, I feel like the Bahamas was the best option. The only other option would have been Canada. So, all right, guys. Well, I hope you have a great day. Happy Tuesday. Make sure that you guys stay tuned for my podcast because I put more details about everything that transpired between Jennifer and Justin in there because they sort of, he talked negatively about her in several interviews. And so I kind of break that down for you guys a little bit in my podcast on Spotify. If you're watching from my old YouTube channel, please go to my new YouTube channel and follow Housewives 411. Please, I had to start over new. I had to start with 0 followers. I have almost 10,000 on my other page. So I need you guys to please hit the like button. Please subscribe, turn your notifications on, and have a great day.